Good evening, listeners, and welcome to Bowling for Blood. I'm your host, Eric von Tettenberry, and tonight my guest is none other than the brand spanking new coach of the Amazon team, Clawing Spikes, Mr. ClawedRebel. It would be wonderful to just sit here and chat for a bit, but time is ticking, and our listeners are undoubtedly most interested in hearing your answers to the most burning questions concerning the great LPers BloodBowl League. We are in agreement then. Cool. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Now, the first question our listeners wanted me to ask you, why did you choose the team of Clawing Spikes over all the other teams currently without a competent coach?
Mainly for the out-of-game perks, rather than the actual competence of the team itself.
I gathered that much. I kind of expected this kind of answer from you. You have a reputation.
Good. I like to ensure that people know who I am and what I'm like. It's important, I feel.
Yes. But since this is a PG-rated program, I think we need to move on without any further elaboration.
As you wish.
The second question, after the brief contact you've had with your team, which of your players do you expect will become most valuable assets during the coming season?
In terms of in the game or outside the game?
Let's just stick in the game material for now, Mr. Rebel. After this interview is over, we can go to other assorted material.
As you wish. All of my players are going to be incredibly valuable to me, but possibly the catches and throwing positions might be more handy than others, given our style of play.
So you are definitely going for the advanced passing and ball handling game, scoring as much as
but I'd rather have something to fall back on when everything else goes wrong.
Right. I understand. Okay, moving on again. Having looked at the league tables, which team do you look forward to facing the least? Which one frightens you? In some
All
way?
of them. All of them. Chaos more than any other. I know the coach of Chaos reasonably well, and I think a victory to him would be the entirety of the other team dying. Chaos seems perfectly suited to that role. It's not something I'm particularly confident about going up against, but it should be entertaining.
Yes, and also if the coaching question is a personal friend of yours, I believe the gloat factor is also very, very much in there.
Either the gloat factor or the excuse factor when he loses. It'll be interesting to find out.
Yes. Okay. How about the other way around then? Which team do you look forward to facing the most, and why?
I don't know the coaches of the other teams as well as the coach of Chaos, and I don't know the other teams as well, but probably either the Dark Elves or the Wood Elves. One of the Elven teams. Agile they may be, but fragile they certainly are.
And also you want to beat them at their own game with...
That's always somewhat satisfying.
Yeah, especially when elves are involved. I agree with you on that, 100%. Those pointy-eared guys need to be put in their place at times.
Yes. Or just beaten to death with their own ears.
Again, we are in complete agreement. How about then the playoffs, when we reach there? Which are the 4 teams that you believe will rule the league tables once the season is at an end?
Whichever ones are still alive. On a more serious note, possibly Skavens, the Orcs, perhaps. I think Chaos will certainly have a chance in there, and the rest possibly up in the air. Maybe the Necros, I suspect, but it'll be an interesting challenge for the third and fourth places.
Okay. How about your own team? Let's move back to that. Are there any aspects of your team that you consider needing improvement, or to which you want to consider, concentrate on, to better?
Nothing in particular. My team strength comes mainly from it being a generalist team, and that's something that does need to be continued. They're competent at everything, especially avoiding, but damage and more avoiding is always helpful.
All right, that's almost all the time we have for this interview, but we have one final question, which is, what kind of message do you want to send to our listeners concerning this upcoming season? The stage is yours.
Pick someone who's not going to die, support them, and when they die, go and support someone else. It's going to be a brutal season, and I suspect a frustrating one for many players. I certainly hope so.
Thank you very much, Mr. ClawedRebel, for this interview. I believe...
It's been my pleasure.
Yes, I have enjoyed it as well. Now let's talk about those team perks a bit more.
Yes, let's.